Welcome to America's Heroes Group.
Good afternoon. This is America's Heroes Group Roundtable with partner Chase Bank. It is Saturday, November 6th. Thursday, November 11th is Veterans Day. November is Military Family Appreciation and Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. I am the host, Cliff Kelley, co-host, Sean Claiborne, executive producer, Glenda Smith, digital media producer, Ivan Ortega, Scouts Honor Productions. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How you doing? It's good to have you back.
I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
Doing wonderful. Tell us what's happening.
So we have a great guest. We have Mr. Jared E. Evans. He's a Chase Bank Community Manager at South Shore Branch, located at 6650 South Stoney Island, Chicago, Illinois. And how are you doing today, Mr. Evans?
I am doing phenomenal. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good. I don't think you've ever met.
Can you hear me pretty clearly?
I can hear you very clearly.
Very good.
He says you all have never met. I've been fortunate enough to meet him. He is just great, and he has helped us so much. Jared Evans is a community manager in Chase Bank South Shore Branch. What are your thoughts about Veterans Day and feeding the homeless?
Well, first of all, can I just say what a delight it is to be in your presence, Mr. Cliff Kelley. I even will say the Honorable Cliff Kelley. I am the son of Mr. Thomas Evans, who was a veteran as well.
Oh, great.
And he listened to you when I was a little boy. And so this is like full circle, and he's smiling down on us from heaven above. But, you know, what it means for me, obviously, as I said, I have a family who has served and a father who has served. And so it means the world to me to come out and support our veterans, especially our homeless veterans in the city of Chicago. This is near and dear to my heart. It's a work that I love. And I'm just proud to even do it, which is the most important day, Veterans Day, the day that we honor our veterans and our heroes.
So what do you have coming up on Veterans Day? What's the big event that we want to announce?
So we're proud to partner with America's Heroes Group and say that on Veterans Day, we will be giving our homeless veterans on the west side of Chicago a free meal and a hygiene care package on that same day to 250 of our Veterans Day.
And this is going to be at 2813 West 5th Avenue. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Kelley. Yes, it is in Congressman Danny K. Davis's district office, the Honorable Congressman Danny K. Davis, I should say.
Absolutely.
And so we're just proud. Yeah, we're very proud to partner with you all and be a part of this. We have over 15, I think, Chase employees coming out. So we'll have our Chase logos on and our shirts, but mainly we're there to show some love to the veterans that deserve it so richly.
And I really appreciate that. As a veteran, I really appreciate any kind of help and support that we can get. Cliff is a Vietnam veteran. I'm a veteran of two different eras, but not a combat veteran, thank God. However, we have another honorable person on the line. That's Mr. Danny K. Davis, the Honorable Illinois Congressman, District 7 here in Illinois. Danny, can you hear us?
Congressman, are you there?
Kelley.
There he is.
There he is.
Congressman Davis, how are you?
I am doing just wonderful.
That's great.
Now, I stayed up last night until on it because we were voting on that very important infrastructure bill that's bringing billions of dollars throughout the United States of America to fix our roadways, our highways, our streets, our alleys, our potholes, our bridges, everything that you can think of. It was a challenging week, but in the end, righteousness prevailed. and we're able to get the bill passed. Now all we have to do is get it to the president's desk because this bill, the Senate has already passed, and we are concurring. So it's not like we got to try to get the Senate to do something, which is what's going to happen on the other bill. But this one, we are home free, and thousands of jobs are going to be created. Veterans always get preference in some of these instances in terms of iron. Of course, I'm looking forward to Veterans Day, November the 11th, when we are honoring veterans, and also not just honoring veterans, but we've got two outstanding individuals, one local, one international. Of course, Colin Powell, internationally acclaimed, one of the finest gentlemen I've ever had the opportunity to shake hands with. As a matter of fact, I don't think I washed my hands for 3 days after having the opportunity. He's just so magnetic. He was just so magnificent.
Sure.
And just to get the opportunity to do that, but to be able to say to homeless veterans, we're also honoring Howard Medley, who is the owner of Medley Movers, 90 years old. He was one of Harold Washington's top confidants and fundraisers and political operatives. But Howard Medley has helped thousands and thousands of people throughout the Chicagoland area. So I'm just looking forward. I mean, I couldn't, even though I only got 2 hours of sleep, because I had to get up and catch a flight at 6:30 to get back to Chicago for some of all the wonderful things that are going on here. So it's a pleasure.
Well, listen, I thought of you and so many others because I stayed up to watch that vote. That vote made so much difference, Congressman. I know that made you probably unable to go to sleep.
Well, you know, public service, Cliff, and you, of course, spent many years in public service. That's why historical things, like there are people who hear you who know that you've been in media all these years, but I remember that you were on the Constitutional Convention. You were the delegate.
That's right.
To the Constitutional Convention when we rewrote the convention for the state of Illinois. Then you spent many years as the lead progressive in the Chicago City Council for years and years. And of course, one of the great things that I've been able to do in life was have the opportunity to serve in the City Council with you. And that's a memory that I always have, always carry. And you were in media. Even then, you was back doing Bruce Dumont and all those kind of shows and stuff. That was back in the 80s.
You have a wonderful memory. Thank you for telling me, Congressman, some of the things I've done.
Congressman. So what's the significance of two things? We have two things going on right now. I think we can tie these things together as well. So we passed a historic legislation in the Senate and in the House, but we also have something great going on with our veterans here in Chicago. Tell us about the importance of being able to support and recognize the veterans, because you have people that have served since Vietnam, people that have served in Iraq, people that served in Korea, people that served up in Afghanistan. Tell us the importance of honoring and recognizing these veterans through a hot meal.
Well, I have a poem that a guy wrote who was a veteran, and it's one of the most delightful poems. And all he really does is say, it's really the veteran or the soldier that protects democracy. That without soldiers, the democracies that we experience throughout the world, we wouldn't have those, because as they were created and being created, it was the soldier who protected it. And so I've always had a great deal of affinity for soldiers. And, I tell a little story about my uncles went to the Army in World War II, and they sent my grandmother allotment check. And so I was her favorite grandchild. And whenever she got the boys checked, she always went to the candy store.
See, a little sweet.
So I thrived, although she did. She lived with us, and then of course she bought her own house with the money that they had sent her, and knowing the role that they played in my grandmother's life, even though I didn't know much about soldiering then, but that always stuck with me, that they looked after their mother, sent her this money every month while they were in Europe and in Italy and all the different places. One of them was at Pearl Harbor, as a matter of fact, and managed to survive that. And I had one uncle who went, they discovered he was 48 years old. Of course, when they discovered that, they put him out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was too old to serve. He was almost as old as Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Jerry, before we move on, tell us once again, what's the address of the event and also the times for the event that's coming up this Veterans Day?
2815 West 5th Avenue. 2815 West 5th Avenue.
West 5th Avenue.
Matter of fact, it's right across the street from what used to be Wallace's Catfish
Corner. Right.
Sounds historic.
Wallace's.
Okay, on the topic of catfish, so tell us also, both of you guys, Jared and also Danny, tell us the significance of feeding the homeless. Where does that, how important, how significant is that to create these care packages for veterans?
Well, veterans
Go ahead,
just the fact, if you think of all the military things that's going on in our country that makes America what it is. You think of Crispus Attucks, black guy, back when the Revolutionary War was going on, who was an outstanding soldier.
Yeah.
Even then, even though blacks in most places in the country were enslaved, didn't have any rights, didn't have any freedom, but here's this guy being one of the first people killed as America was struggling for its freedom from England and was becoming the America that we know it to be. And I've watched so many movies about soldiers and what they gave. And of course, I have two great big veteran hospitals in my district.
Great.
The Jesse Brown Hospital,
Yes.
which I had the honor of naming Jesse Brown.
Wow.
I named Jesse
That's wonderful.
Brown.
That's wonderful.
Jesse Brown. That's why it's called Jesse Brown. So then it was the West Side VA Hospital. But Jesse Brown was the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, an outstanding African American, a black man who was the buddy of the former police chief, Hilliard. He actually married Hilliard's sister. They were in the military together. He came home with Hilliard one time and met his sister. And of course, they fell in love with each other and eventually got married. And so this great friendship between Jesse Brown and Superintendent Hilliard, of course, existed and endured. And I got the opportunity, because he was so outstanding, to name that hospital, to change the name, because it is a federal institution. And then, of course, we have the great hospital, Hines, that just celebrated its 100th anniversary about 2 weeks ago. And so veterans have great medical facilities. We used to have 3 VA hospitals in my district because we had Lakeside. And then Lakeside closed and pretty much moved out to North Chicago. Much of that activity moved out to North Chicago along with the Chicago Medical School.
Wow.
So we've been with the veterans a long time.
Yes,
I got a Tuskegee Airman jacket that I wear. It got Tuskegee written all over the back of it in big, bold letters. And I was walking down the street the other day, me and my wife, a young fellow was running behind me, and he said, Mister, was you one of the originals? And I'm wondering, what is
We got about 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left before we run out of time. Let me ask this one question, if I may interrupt, the Honorable. Congressman? Let me ask, I just got one thing to get in before we stop. 2 things we want to announce. We're running out of time. The first thing we want to remind everyone, so this is going to be between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m., the 2815, West 5th Avenue here in Chicago on Veterans Day. That's 4 days and a wake-up to Veterans Day. So veterans, come out, spread the word. And then also, Jared, can you give us one last point on what the significance of how you came up with the care package? Just a quick, if you give us one or 2 lines. We only have about 10 seconds left.
Well, first of all, we're just sad about homelessness, period. But homelessness and veterans don't even go together. So we know it's getting ready to get cold in Chicago. We want to have these care packages. Chase is proud to partner with America's Heroes Group, and we look forward to a stronger and longer partnership as we move forward.
I want to thank Chase, too, because they had the mortgage on my house. Well, we love you. We love it all.
That'll do it.
So how did you come up with something like care packages? That's one thing I wanted to, because that's something significant to veterans. Because if you've ever been in a mail call, whether in basic training or AIT or overseas deployed, a care package is very significant. So how did you come up with that specific symbol?
We really brainstormed about it. There was some folks were saying maybe we could provide a shirt and a tie, but we said let's be proximate and realistic, right? And we know that these are things that if you're without a home and you out, unfortunately in the cold, you want some socks, you need some deodorant, you need, toothpaste and a toothbrush. These are essential things, right? And so we just decided that instead of, a shirt and a tie, the right thing to do is really give a hygiene or a care package. And we know when we're in the Army, right, that getting a package in the Army was the right thing to do.
Exactly.
So
mail call.
Change now. It's very important. Yeah, exactly. We'd love to get something.
So, Jared, were you in the military?
Bankers.
No, I was not. But as I told you, my father was 25 years older than my mother.
Mm-hmm.
He was a World War II veteran. He would have been 96 this year. He passed away when I was 9 years old. But he always told me, if you meet a veteran or a person who has served in the military, you look them in the eye and you tell them, thank you for your service. I have an 11-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter, and I'm instilling that in them as well. It is not only the veterans and the active military, but it's the families. It's the sacrifice that is made, and we owe it to them to honor them. And I instill that into my children, and we pray for them, because it is a lot that veterans come back with and that they have to endure. And, we as a firm, we certainly want to honor them, and I'm delighted to be out honoring our homeless veterans as well and telling them we love them. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And I think also important to note that the packages are not just for men, but also women. Go ahead, Congressman. Go ahead. Congressman.
No, I just say if your father was alive, he'd be as old as Cliff Kelley.
Just stop it now.
I got something for you, Congressman. What do you say, Congressman? Listen, you did mention somebody that I just want to throw something out to, because he done a number of things, and you hardly ever mention Congressman, and you mentioned Howard Medley.
Yeah,
Howard Medley. He's done so much for a lot of people who had been in the service.
90 years old.
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Still going.
Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the late great Colin Powell, who I learned through his passing that he was a senior advisor at J.P. Morgan Chase and one of our founding members of the Advancing Black Pathways Advisory Council. So we have an entity within the firm that really is stationed on uplifting Black and Hispanic and Latinos. But General Colin Powell was one of the first founding members of the Advancing Black Pathways within J.P. Morgan Chase and Company. So we lost a legend, but we honor him as well. And we think about him. I saw the episode from last week or a couple of weeks ago, and just we honor him.
Wow, and he was a great pillar for the military, not just for the military, but also for the country, because he was truly one of the first. When I say one of the first, in our generation, one of the main Black conservatives that existed across the country, who was conservative, but at the same time stood up for true values. Someone that was liberal or conservative could actually respect. And then there were certain things when we can go into the Iraq War, we can talk about other things, but he always did his job and did it to the best of his ability, and he was someone you could follow and respect. I mean, some people wonder what would have happened if he ran for president.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
true.
Might have won.
We all do.
Yeah, that's true.
We all wonder, yes, indeed, if he had run.
Yep.
All right. So we got about 2 minutes left. So, Jared, any final words about this event? And one thing, and also have Congressman, I want you to simmer on this question. I'm going to come to you last because I want you to give the final word. How significant, I want you to simmer on this question. How significant is this new legislation that just passed in relation to the New Deal? Is this the biggest thing that's happened since the New Deal? But Jared, give us a last word.
I simply want to say thank you again to America's Hero Group for allowing us to partner with you on such an important initiative for taking care of our homeless veterans. Chase has come out with, in 2020 of last year, our racial equity commitment, where we are going across the country, a $30 billion commitment over the next 5 years toward racial equity in the Black and brown communities. And I am a byproduct of that commitment. I'm a community manager, which simply means I am the bridge between the bank and the community, and I am going to tie in the tools and the resources of this great organization, this great firm, to help the people who need it the most. So this is a part and a way that we can participate. And again, I am delighted to be with you all, Honorable Congressman Danny K. Davis, and I'll say the Honorable Cliff Kelley as well, and our moderator. We're just delighted to be here. It's an honor to be here with you all, and thank you too for your services as well, and to our Congressman.
And we thank you, and we want to make sure everybody has that address again. 2815 West Fifth Avenue. Was that right, Congressman?
Yes, sir. 28 West.
2815 West Fifth Avenue.
That is it. And of course, I've had the good fortune to meet a fellow named Jamie Dimon.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I know that man.
Yeah. Well, you know, public life gives you a chance to do a lot of things and to come in contact. So again, I thank all the veterans who served because they served us, the public. And without them, we wouldn't be who we are, where we are, and what we are. So God bless veterans and God bless America.
And on that note, thanks for
God
listening to
bless
America's Heroes Group. We'll be right back.